Between Shades of Grey is a worthwhile and influential novel that opens the eyes of the reader. It has the power to change the perspective that people have about the notorious time period of the 1940s. But unlike the eminent events in history of Hitler and the Nazis, this particular story tells what one family was put through during the Lithuanian Holocaust. This unrecognized and overlooked event is depicted and illustrated through the words of Ruta Sepetys in this novel. This miraculous and captivating novel tells the heartbreaking yet haunting journey that Lena and her family were put through during this time. They are all suffering through every moment to remain alive.
Out of nowhere, Soviet officers abruptly pound on the front door of Lena's home and nearly break it down. The officer barks at Lena's mother and demands that they pack their bags. That night, Lena, her brother Jonas, and her mother Elena were stuffed into a cattle car along with others. Their lives were thrown into that one piece of luggage that each person was allowed. Each day, they were faced with new what-if questions. At one point, they were forced to ask themselves, have you ever wondered what a human life is worth? That morning, my brother's life was worth a pocket watch. Once they arrive at a prison camp, they are expected to share a tiny shack with a rude and angry old woman. This camp becomes their home for 10 months, where they are forced to do manual labor. For their work, they are only given a small amount of food that is hardly enough to survive.
This novel has an important and everlasting theme that has the ability to follow the reader forever. This journey that Lena and her family went through not only teaches the reader about the power of love and compassion, but about the power of positivity as well. You learn how if you can stay positive in the worst of situations, you can overcome and persevere through any obstacle that stands in your way. If you just keep believing that everything will be okay in the end, it will. This is shown in the book when they stay together when the times are hard, and they constantly tell each other it will be fine. Even when they are seconds from giving up, someone still has that 1 ounce of hope, knowing that there is still the light at the end of the tunnel.
Author Ruta Sepetys is the granddaughter of a Lithuanian refugee. She grew up in Michigan and now lives in Tennessee. She got the idea for Between Shades of Grey when she found out there were no pictures of her family. She asked why and found out that it was because the pictures were burned during the time period of 1940s. So, the Soviets wouldn't know who they were related to. She heard many devastating stories from her family and decided that she wanted to write about it. She wanted to give her voice to those who had not yet been heard. She took 2 separate trips to Lithuania and interviewed dozens of people, in which she ended up basing her characters off of.
Lena is not only the protagonist of this novel, but the narrator as well. She expresses herself through her drawings, but now, taken from the only world she has come to know, she was forced to find other ways to draw, whether with a stick or dirt or with an old ripped handkerchief. Her art symbolizes how she is an artistic and creative person, but also the source of hope. It is a reminder of her home and allows her to believe that she will live to see it once again. With Lena being the narrator, the reader gets a realistic and unique perspective of what is going on throughout the plot and how the character is feeling at specific moments. Lena's mother, Elena, is also another main character in this novel. There are many reasons for Elena to get worked up and overwhelmed, but she always tries her hardest to stay calm. The quote, "You stand for what is right, Lena," without the expectation of gratitude or reward, sums up her thoughts. She contributes positive thoughts even when the times are difficult and intimidating. She gives up her daily bread ration to those who are nothing but strangers.
You are highly advised to read this book and learn for yourself whether or not Lena, Jonas, and Elena make it through this situation. Is the love and support of one another enough? Are they able to stay positive, or do negative thoughts fill their minds? The only way to find out is to read the novel Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. Just be prepared to go on the emotional roller coaster along with Lena and her family while experiencing the highs and lows of their journey to survival.